You're worth the introduction. So faculty at Cornell University, Columbia University, and Mount Sinai School of Medicine. And importantly, is also president and CEO of Worldwide Orphans Foundation, a non-profit organization that provides direct services to orphans and at-risk children in multiple countries. So this morning, we're going to hear a talk entitled Element of Play, an Early Intervention Resource.
So the entire focus of my work going forward, even though I've done 1,000 things, and I'm reminded of that idea that we have a lot of peaks of emotion and little opportunity really to move things going. We are focused, WWO, at this point in time on the power of play. We've done a lot of work in this area, and I think there's been a lot said here that sort of really helps everyone see immediately the value of play, because you're seeing photographs and you're hearing about people talk about how important it is for kids to be kids. Now, what we've discovered by using a program called Element of Play, which encompasses toy library, music and motion, story time, sport, and imagination, improvisation, and photography and theater, is that children can actually be readied for school and prepared to do lots in life that are fairly scientific and demanding through their ability to be curious, innovative, and all about discovery. So, but the key in this program that we provide, Element of Play, so we have 23 toy libraries actually now, Bulgaria, Haiti, Vietnam, and most recently we've entered into the United States and opened a new toy library on September 16th in Orange, New Jersey. The Element of Play brings together the issues of particularly early intervention, which were just very beautifully discussed by Gopal. And then we are about readying children from school, preschool, elementary, and further. And then the main piece that I'm going to perseverate about is the adult piece. There is no way that we can do anything around play for children unless we really teach adults. So my theory of change is really all about the fact that there are 2.2 billion children, there are 4.8 billion adults, and all of those adults, for the most part, really don't have the skill to be able to understand how children think and feel. As hard as that is to believe, even if I gave you all a quiz, and I do this all the time when I do educational forums, if I gave you a quiz about all the things that children think and feel, you would all probably score around a 10. I've done it experimentally over and over again. We don't have time for it today. And that includes people with children. There's an intricacy and actually almost the power of denial that keeps us from approaching the reality of how children think and feel at every moment of their development. We just don't take it in. And as a result of not taking it in, we are then moved to allow, because of our denial and our lack of understanding, we allow all the things you're hearing about today. So the focus for us going forward is going to be educating adults in the community. We hire people from the community who are veterans out of rehab after PTSD, elderly women and men, mostly women, because we haven't yet put a fire under those elderly men to play with kids, but we will. I think all the ambassadors here could inspire that. And then we hire youth. And we bring them into our training programs, we retrain, and we get them to be the power of this entire process of play. And we call them toy librarians. Some of them remain attachment therapists. And we teach them transferable skills. This is a very old concept that kind of disappeared after the war. And that's about taking people who have no resumes, no certificates, no education, nothing. Just humans who are interested in children. And then we teach them program design, communication skills, program coordination, management. They can move out of toy library and they can get jobs in a factory or any business. They can open up their own business because they've learned how, through transferable skill education, they've learned how to work in a very nice group approach to making things happen, being nimble, We use a variety of different screening tests to assess children, especially for kids with disabilities. And we use ASQ, and we use mood scales, all kinds of things. Bailey 3, we've translated Bailey 3 into Bulgarian. And we believe that testing kids is extremely important because then we have quantitative data to then focus on the developmental areas of challenge. And then we can move forward with individualized prescriptions, if you will. And the toy librarians manage those prescriptions. So the focus of our work really is in the community. Even though we started, 18 years ago, we're 18 years old, even though we started a long time ago, and we've been in 14 countries now, 15 countries, we really are about the community. So orphans may have been stuck in an orphanage or an institution, but they're really in the community, and now they're out of the communities due to deinstitutionalization and reintegration and reunification. There's a movement afoot that's not so subtle to get kids back into the community. And that's where we are. We followed all of that, and we're in the community helping kids to have a connection to everything that goes on in the community, which means education, access to medical care, and psychosocial support. So the play piece really is, in my estimation, the way in which to sneak around actively and get kids engaged with adults in the community to change the way they see life. You have to change your attitude. Even if you're a little kid, you have to have your attitude rearranged a little bit, especially if you've been abused and you've been stigmatized. So in essence, the toy library ends up being a place where people can go to reconnect with one another. They can be part of clinics. They can be part of either mental health clinics or medical clinics. They can be in hospitals. They can be in libraries. The one we have now in Orange, New Jersey, which I'll close with, is our center of excellence. I'm too far away from the things that we do. I could travel so far, but finally every day to see every little move and every little mood that people have won't get you ahead unless you're really on it. So opening the toy library in Orange was very intentional so we could tweak and fine-tune and create training modules so that we can make it really great and bring it all over the world. I want thousands of these. They're easy. 53 schools were closed in Chicago a year and a half ago. They're sitting empty. There are thousands of schools empty all over the world, tens of thousands, vacated, empty, that could be easily used by all kinds of community mechanisms. We believe we can move into these little schools and take over and provide the toy library and all its pieces, which are art and music and theater. I was fortunate enough yesterday in my travel to Philadelphia to come to a wonderful, and I think the most beautiful place I've seen in a long time. I felt I entered Fantasyland. It wasn't Disney. I drove up Germantown Avenue, and I suddenly see this amazing place, art parks, 15 of them. Go to Philly. Well, there are murals all over the world, but the beauty of this was that there were people in this community who created those art parks out of nothing. Broken chairs, murals, paint, their hearts and souls, and then a small little building that was taken over so that people could meet there and bring youth and children into programs and reunite families that were really disintegrating, all around art and music and performance. And I'm going there. I'm putting a toy library in the village. And that's the kind of thing that all of us can do with determination. So what I ask you to do today, go home and think about play. Think about playing more. Play is the most important thing we'll ever do. It's how we think. Play is thought and creativity. And everyone in this room probably could walk out today and say, I'm not playing enough. We all need to play. Even if you wear a shirt and a tie, you need to play. And even if it's not a game that's organized and competitive, you need to get down and you need to play. Thank you so much. I'm honored to be here.